Continuing here, I was just talking about driving safely and watching out and expect the unexpected. Dr. Phil was recently sued by this kid. The kid ran right into Dr. Phil, turns out. And, that's not the way the media said it initially. It was like Dr. Phil hit a skateboarder. Well, the skateboarder actually hit him because he released the video footage. But this kid's attorney, as soon as he saw the footage, he dropped the case. No way, man. So, anyhow, people can really act stupid out there. You see the way some people drive down the freeway 100 miles an hour in traffic, and it, makes one wonder what kind of drugs they're doing. In the mainstream media, they're talking about, oh, Trump's going to pardon himself and all this crap. For what? They won't talk about that. All this nonsense they made up about the Russian collusion, knowing it was all just BS from the get-go. But yet, this is all they've got is lies and deceit and misinformation, malinformation, malevolent information that to throw at this poor guy. And he's just trying to help America, doing the right thing. And I think people should give him a chance. If you're a liberal, I really do believe that Trump is a liberal, and you might not get it, you might not see it yet, but when you see your cost of living tax go down and your currency being worth more, okay, that's when I'll say, yeah, he was a good liberal. And also the fiscal conservatives out there, we're going to see their taxes. They already have seen their taxes go down. The rich, they say, have seen their taxes decline. That's a good thing. I mean, if they've got more disposable income, that's good. But too many people, they get on Wall Street and all this, and all their money is just invested in stocks, and they don't want it's dead money is what I call. I mean, it's good for the brokers and all. They make fortunes right off your money trading and all those. But it's basically dead. It's just sitting there, and you yourself are not doing anything with that money in your local community. So if you can, get into the Keynesian thinking there to where you understand the velocity of currency, cash flow, how that benefits your community, a basic income where people that couldn't afford to fix their car, now they can go to the mechanic. You think the mechanic doesn't appreciate that? And on and on. In every retail business and service out there and all, people can spend money, and that's going to be good for business. Your taxes are going to go down dramatically because of all the problems that are created in society because of financial desperation. They're not going to exist. So it's just win, 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 win all the way around, man. That's all it would do. And it might sound like a liberal idea, a basic income, but I don't know. How are we going to skin this cat? Okay, if we gain control over the issuance of currency, yeah, that'll do it. If we, the people, are the check and balance, if we, the people, are who hold these people's feet to the fire, and we make sure that, there's somebody to be accountable, that we are the ones that give the oversight to this industry of this money printing operation, the issuance of currency, yeah, we could do it that way. That's another way to skin the cat. Okay, what's the likelihood of that happening? That Trump's going to get rid of the Federal Reserve? Maybe that will happen. I don't know how the cat's going to get skinned. One way or another, sooner or later, the good guy's going to win. God's will is going to be established on earth. This is another thing that Alex's preacher that he was talking with in Hawaii, he's talking about, oh, yeah, well, in heaven like that, but no, what the hell? What's the Lord's Prayer, man? Wait, come on, the guy's a preacher. He's a pastor of a church. What the hell are you talking about? May God's will be done on earth as it is in heaven. How is it in heaven? Jesus described it as paradise. That's what's coming to the earth. God's will is going to be firmly established on the earth, and at that time, there will be paradise. There will be no form of money at all. No way to have an advantage, disadvantage scene going on. Okay, that's it. And there's going to be a lot of people that would hate to be there. They don't want, because they love their lives in this current paradigm, where there is this unlevel playing field, this advantage, disadvantage paradigm. It's worked to their favor. So they'd be totally opposed to it. That's why they're not going to go to heaven. It's not because God's a big meanie and condemning. No, he wishes none to perish, all to come to repentance. It's because they don't want to be there. So they're buying their own damn ticket to hell, because they'd be miserable in a world without money where they couldn't get a one-up on somebody. So what's God supposed to do? You can keep them between a rock and a hard spot forever? No. No, this scene's going to change, man. Whether the return of Christ is a metaphor or not, it's going to change. We're going to enter a new age, and this age is coming to an end imminently. Okay, we've reached a fevered pitch. We've reached the breaking point. Okay, the knowledge has increased. The empowerment level is increasing. People are getting it. That's it. You just got to get it, man. When you get it, you're going to be empowered, and you're not going to have anybody trying to pull the wool over your eyes, and you're going to call them. You're going to say, no, that's not the way free market supply and demand capitalism works. Don't try to tell me crony capitalism is capitalism. That's a bunch of bull. All it that does is creates a lot of socialism and communism out there because people feel slighted by what they call capitalism, what but is antithetical, the opposite of capitalism. Locally, they're discussing, we got the homeless and the being discussed by the public and the government. It's good that they're discussing the problems. I understand. I mean, people don't want them crapping and leaving trash everywhere. I get that. But the mayor locally here in Chico, he alluded to this idea that a lot of these homeless, they don't even want help, any of the services. That is such a big fat lie. I mean, you might find one homeless person out of 100, none that I've ever talked to, that would say, yeah, I would refuse housing services. I would refuse assistance if the government offers me help. That's such a lie. That's what he's trying to tell people, that it's their fault that they choose homelessness. Can you imagine that, somebody choosing it? It's just bizarre. I mean, yeah, you are mentally ill, then you belong in a mental institution if you're going to turn down the opportunity to have housing when you can't afford it yourself. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Ludicrous. Locally here, we got a 34-year-old man that was a suicide by cop victim. It's really very sad, you know. And it sucks all the way around. It sucks for the cops that took his life, and it sucks for everybody. I mean, you know, suicide is really bad. This woman recently, Kate, what's her name? Kate Spade, that took her life recently. This really sucks. I mean, her leaving a note about blaming the dad, asked daddy why I killed myself, to her 13-year-old daughter. I mean, that's messed up stuff, man. You got to be pretty sick to do that. But that's it. You know, there isn't enough money, right? It's always money. That's why we got homelessness. That's why we got so many mental health issues. Is because we need more money to pay for more psychiatrists and sociologists and psychologists out there, okay, to help people, because there's just not enough funding, and it's all about more money. Just pour more money into the problem. You know, people got to decide for themselves that they don't want to hurt other people that love them. And committing suicide, yeah, it might be an easy out for you. I can't see it. I mean, you know, I don't know whether to call people cowards or courageous when they kill themselves. But, you know, the only opinion that counts is God's opinion, and it's wrong. I mean, you should not take your own life. I mean, on its face, you see it's murdering yourself. It's like whatever, people, the reasons. Who can really get into the mind of somebody that would actually, you know, pull the switch, and, you know, and do it? But, you know, I don't get it. But to me, it's wrong, and you shouldn't do it. And they say the suicide rates are rising, and more women. It used to be a 1-to-4 ratio with 4 men killing themselves for every woman that killed themselves. But now they're getting more women killing themselves between certain age groups. And often money does play a role in these decisions to take your life. They were saying that this clothing line, accessories, whatever this woman started, Kate Spade, that she was, it wasn't doing too good. And her husband was, they were separating, I guess, and she wasn't taking that too well either. That's why she asked her daughter to ask daddy. And so locally here, we had some idiot that stole the dog trainer's van with 14 dogs in it. Can you imagine that? But the van was found. The guy hasn't been found yet, or a woman, whoever took it. But had a happy ending. They found the van with the dogs, who were very thirsty and hungry. But that's nice to see. All right, on to some thoughts from the last weeks, couple of weeks. Start where I left off here. As the Holy Bible itself states, vast amounts of humans are on the highway to hell. Many are oblivious or unconcerned about their own destruction. That's not verbatim. Of course, you got to read the Bible yourself, and your own deductions are valid. If you test the Spirit, check in with the Spirit that's right adjacent to you, the Holy Spirit of truth, like Jesus called, the Comforter, the Encourager, the Counselor. The one that we should allow to shape our opinions and beliefs about different things. But the one thing I would definitely implore people to do is really consider using your God-given imagination, your ability to think about a world entirely without any form of money. That's the place I want to be. I wish money was never invented, but I'm stuck in this scene too, man. I don't have a waiver. Okay, I don't get to opt out from this scene, and so yeah, one part of me loves money for all the same reasons everybody else loves money, and God knows, and I welcome it into my heart for that, understanding of how I could love money and hate money with a passion simultaneously. It seems like would cause a lot of conflict in me, and it does. It's a paradox, and but I only want to contend with this thing as long as I have to, and I'm looking really forward to a day when I don't have to deal with it at all, man. Taking our lives seriously, inasmuch as fighting the good fight, whatever we personally believe that fight to be, is serious and prudent business. Nonetheless, we must somehow simultaneously maintain a spirit of cool indifference, a healthy detachment from a mad, temporal, beastly world system. This is the whole idea of don't stare into the abyss too long, lest you become the abyss. It's good advice. Cool detachment from the madness, but confronting it at the same time. Because if we don't, we're never gonna be able to overcome it. We're never gonna extricate ourselves from this mess unless we're honest about it and get hands-on. As a metaphor, an allegory, hands-on. I mean, you gotta, not only get empowered yourself, but help empower other people. Help lead them out of confusion, out of Babylon, out of ignorance. Don't let them prescribe to an ignorance is bliss philosophy. As best you can, be tactful. Use divine tact. Ask God for the right words and the right attitude, the right spirit to reach people and to be effective. Because that's what you're really after. To really, help people to make sense of what's going on in this world and who's really at the top pulling the strings for all of us. And the trickle-down madness, and how they're trying to, create us and render us in their image and likeness as mad men and women. Just don't let them do it. May God have mercy and be gentle with the soul of humanity. The souls of men, human beings. In light of the fact that we humans all have issues, the question becomes what to do about said issues. Working for the absolute, unfettered, total freedom for all humanity is hands down the only viable solution I can imagine. I believe our issues stem primarily from external forces, external fears, then manifest themselves internally and are acted out on individually and in a unique manner as individuals. That's right. So many of the vices and the forms of escapism we find, they're kind of contoured and customized to our personal, individual problems, issues, stressors that we have in dealing with a holy